Hey everybody, Blaine, PGA Golf Performance Coach, and in this video I want to talk about wrist mobility. We actually have two techniques for you here today. The first one is I want you to take the fingers on one hand and place them between the two bones of your opposite arm. So we have two bones here, the radius and the ulna. We're going to take these fingers and they're going to run parallel to those bones, but we're going to push down in between them. While pushing down in between them, I'm going to take my hand and do some circles. As I'm doing that, either with my hand open, my hand closed, or a combination thereof, I'm going to start to feel some of the restricted tissues that run through that area that go between the bones up into the wrist joint area. I'm going to start to feel them move around and start to break up, and that's exactly what we want. One of the things you can do to test this before and after is to make a fist and then push down and pull up. We should see a pretty significant amount of range with the wrist in either direction, at least 60 degrees. So if you make a fist and you find that you can't go down unless you open your hand, then you have a restriction in your wrist, and this is going to help with that. So we want to be able to come down and compress or cover that golf ball as we move through impact. So we're going to spend about 2 minutes per side here, fingers right between the forearm, between those two bones there, wrist circles in both directions, open and close as well, and you can feel free to try the other side, the underside as well, giving it a good squeeze, open and close, and you're going to feel something a little bit different. After we've done that, we're going to do our second exercise, which are wrist planks. What we're going to do with the wrist plank is I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to get them flat on the ground, and I find that if my fingers are facing me, it's easier to be leaning forward a little bit. Then I can lean backwards. As I lean backwards, I'm going to feel a good stretch on the underside of my forearm, and that's my cue to push my hands down into the ground. So I can lean forward, get nice and comfortable, make sure that they're both flat, then come down and push. You can take this one step farther by doing one arm at a time, taking your other hand and placing it on top of the hand that's on the ground, just to really make sure that your hand stays flat. Again, we can go side to side, we can come a little bit forward and backward, and as always, we're going to push that hand down through the mat. And it's that pushing of the hand down through the mat that really makes a difference. The other side of the coin is, rather than going palms down, we can do palms up, and then also lean backwards. Same thing, push the backs of your hands down into the mat. This time you're going to feel it stretch on the top of your forearm. So all in all, we're looking at 2 minutes per side with our wrist circles, and we're looking 2 minutes per side with our wrist planks. Again, that's a combination of top and bottom, palm down, palm up. So all in all, we're looking at about 8 minutes of work here, but when you're done, what you're going to find is your wrists are going to be much more supple. You're going to find that you don't have to squeeze the golf club as hard. You're actually going to be able to produce more speed and more compression force down through impact. So definitely give this a try. I'd love to see your before and after with your wrist pictures. Find me on social media at MOBILITAS Golf, or use hashtag MoveBetterPlayBetter.